Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fairborn City Schools Board of Education organizational meeting, Thursday, January 6, 2022, on the campus here at Fairborn High School. Would we all stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Farlow, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Browning.
Here.
Mr. McCourt.
Here.
Ms. Landon.
Here.
Mrs. Malad.
Here.
Mr. Steininger.
Here. Thank you. Before we get on to the business at hand, I would just like to make a comment. Our superintendent, Gene Lawley, was taken sick on Tuesday night. I was with him at a basketball game, and he said he wasn't feeling good at that point in time. So he's taking a day or so off and hopefully recovering as soon as possible and get back to work. So he will be absent from tonight's meeting. Next item up is approval of agenda as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Jerry. Second. Thank you, Tim. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Browning.
Yes.
Mr. Steininger.
Yay.
Ms. Landon.
Yes.
Mrs. Malad.
Yep.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the election of officers for calendar year 2022. I will open the nominations for president. May I have a nomination?
Oh, is that me? I nominate Jerry Browning.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations for president is closed.
Need a motion to close nominations.
Oh, I'm sorry, a motion, I'm sorry, yep.
So
May I
moved.
have a motion to close?
So moved.
Thanks, Tim. Second?
Yes.
Second.
Thank you, Katie. Roll call, please.
Mr. Steininger.
Yay.
Mrs. Malad.
Yes.
Ms. Landon.
Yes.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. Or should I abstain?
Either one.
Yes.
Next, we'll have a roll call for the vote for president.
Vice President. Oh, that was, he just did that.
Oh, that's right, okay, I'm sorry.
We did the motion to close nominations for president.
Yep.
Now we will take the roll call vote
Oh,
for Mr. Browning to be board president.
That's what I thought, okay.
okay.
And I need a motion and second on that.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Katie.
Second.
Thanks, Tim. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Malad.
Yes.
Mr. Steininger.
Yay.
Ms. Landon.
Yes.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. Should I abstain or vote yes?
Doesn't matter.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. Jerry Browning is declared president for the calendar year 2022. Next item up is nominations for vice president. May I have a nomination?
Yep. I nominate Pat McCourt.
Thank you, Jerry. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Katie. Any other nominations? Motion to close nominations for vice president.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Tim. Thank you, Jerry. Roll call, please.
Mr. Steininger.
Yay.
Mr. Browning.
Yes.
Ms. Landon.
Yes.
Mrs. Malad.
Yes.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes. President Pro Temp declared the motion,
I need
and we'll have a
need a roll call.
new motion for roll call.
Yes, I need move in second for Mr. McCourt to be vice president.
Okay, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Jerry, thank you. Second?
A second.
Katie, thank
Wendy.
you.
That was Wendy.
There's Wendy.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna have problems again.
All righty, now roll call, please.
Mr. Browning.
Yes.
Ms. Landon.
Yes.
Mrs. Malad.
Yes.
Mr. Steininger.
Yay.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes. Pat McCourty is now declared vice president for the calendar year 2022. Next item up is the Board of Education organizational discussion or decision for calendar year 2022. You have a list of items there. This is what we do. Each of us have a responsibility in some of these offices or appointments, and they are listed there. Without hearing any objection, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Jerry. Second? Thank you, Katie. Roll call, please.
Mr. Browning,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes. Next item from the Treasurer's Office, request approval for the following groups. A resolution pertaining to school finance. Two items there, along with the attachment. Establish service fund, calendar year 2022. And we'll flip the page and go to page 5, where I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thanks, Tim. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mr. McCourt,
Yes.
Mr. Browning.
Yes.
Superintendent's Office, request approval of the following group of resolutions pertaining to the superintendent. Again, we got a few items there. Anybody have any questions on A through F? I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thanks, Jerry. Second?
A
Second.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Browning,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes. Next item, it is requested by the board adjourn to the organizational meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Jerry.
Second.
Thanks, Katie. Roll call, please.
Mr. Browning,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Mr. McCourt.
Yes.
That concludes the organizational meeting. We will now move to the regular meeting for January for Fairborn Schools.
Time do we have?
6:05, 6:07.
I don't see any new visitors, so I could open it up for public requests again, but I don't see anybody new except Twyla. So Twyla, do you want to address the board? Okay.
Okay.
And we're okay to start, Mr. President.
Okay. Mr. Philo, would you do the roll call, please?
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Here.
Mr. McCourt,
Here.
Mr. Browning.
Here. Next item is to approve the agenda for the regular meeting as presented. Have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
So,
Who
thanks,
moved it?
Pat. Pat moved, Katie second.
Okay.
So, Mr. Philo?
Mr. McCourt,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the December 3rd regular meeting and the December 16th work session. Can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Katie.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Pat. Mr. Philo?
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. McCourt,
Yes.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is board reports and good of the order. Wendy, start with you.
Oh, okay. Fairborn Intermediate School Star students were rewarded with a trip to Wright State University women's basketball game. STAR stands for students who are respectful, responsible, and safe. And Fairborn City Schools truly values our partnerships with Wright State University and the opportunities provided for our students and staff. Thank you.
Katie?
All right. I would just like to congratulate the Fairborn High School Music Department on a successful series of concerts beginning in December. They held several nights of really lovely concerts for the families of the high school band, orchestra, and choir, and also band and choir for the middle school as well. So that was much appreciated by all the families that came. I also would like to give a little heads up that we have the musical Grease is coming up at the beginning of February. It will be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 7 p.m. each night. So please come out and see the kids perform. They've been working very hard for the past few months. And then lastly, Baker Middle School held a coin drive for the Humane Society and raised $503.57. Principal Stephanie Reynolds and Assistant Principal Waylon Stiegel and Assistant Principal Brad Holt also each took a pie to the face for the fundraiser. Thank you to BMS for all that you do for the community.
Okay. Matt?
Okay, my shout out is to welcome and introduce the Fairborn City School next head football coach here, Larry Cox. Larry comes to us from Franklin City Schools, and Larry will be a part of the staff here at Fairborn High School and will be leading the entire Skyhawk football program. So we would like to welcome Coach Cox. He's not here this evening, but I'm sure if we'd have caught him earlier, he'd be down in the weight room because they've already hitting the weights down there. So welcome to Coach Cox. Other things I have, just like to congratulate the new board members sworn in this evening. We welcome you with open arms. We have a good time at what we do, and we do everything we do for the kids here in Fairborn. So welcome to each and every one of you, and welcome back, Katie. I shouldn't say you were new. But,
That's all right.
basketball games, I have attended a few of the basketball games. It looks like we're moving forward with that, and some very good games, starting with the freshmen the other night and working our way up through reserve and varsity. I will be judging the MLK Art Contest coming up. I was part of that last year and really enjoyed it, so that's coming up, and I'm proud to be a part of that. Also, just to announce, we were involved with the Student of the Quarter the other night at Baker Junior High, and had a lot of great kids receiving that Student of the Quarter award. I would like to thank the principals of the respective schools that were there and their staff. They always seem to come out and support that program as well. So thanks to one and all there. And then finally, I was asked to come out to Wright Elementary a couple weeks ago to see what's going on out there with the food pantry. Mr. and Mrs. Dorley, when I caught up with them, or they caught up with me, I guess, they just lost a bunch of peanut butter and jelly out on one of the interstate highways, and they were out cleaning up peanut butter and jelly all over the highway. They had peanut butter and jelly all over themselves. But we went over and took a look at the food pantry over at Wright Elementary, which Fairborn City Schools is providing to them, and they're just beaming. Tickled to death to have a new location and to serve the people of Fairborn. So they do such a great job, and of course they do it out of the love of the community and the kids and the people. So thank you to Jane and Bill Dorley, and welcome them to the family here at Fairborn City Schools, and we love what they're doing. And Jerry, that's all I have.
Okay. Tim?
I'd like to recognize that the Fairborn held what they call a literacy night, at the family literacy night at the Fairborn Primary School. I happened to be there for some of it. It was packed out, and I think the parents had a great time along with the kids. Santa had two lines going that took about an hour to get through, and it was just a wonderful opportunity for everybody there at the school, and I think the students really enjoyed it. Also, going along, some of the second graders all went to the Wright State basketball game that was held with the ladies, and they enjoyed themselves immensely, and I think they made us proud by being there and how they acted. So thank you very much to everybody who participated. That's it for me.
Okay. Yeah, it's the start of a new year. Just wanted to thank the staff, everybody involved, bus drivers, custodians, teachers, secretaries, aides, for what we do. It's been a tough year. Tough 2 years, and we'll get through this. We still got a ways to go, but we'll get through this. Just want to thank everybody. Been able to get to some of the basketball games, both girls and boys basketball games, and, you know, the teams are playing hard, I will tell you that. Both teams are young, and they're developing, they're getting better as the year goes. The student and staff of the quarter, Pat commented about that, but the additional comment I'd like to make is it was neat to have it back in person. We've been handing that stuff out, you know, to the students, and it was just neat being able to interact with the students again and give them the awards, and it's fun looking at the smiles on a lot of their faces and their families' faces as they're getting the awards. And then Katie mentioned the concerts that went on the past couple months, and same thing. It's nice being back in person for those concerts. We did have to do the winter celebration a little bit different of, you know, splitting over 2 days and those types of things. But I was amazed at how good our musicians are again, both, you know, choir and orchestra and band. So that's it.
Jerry, point of order. I forgot one group. I attended a couple of the bowling contests here in town. Our bowling team is alive and well. The girls are really doing very well. That happens up on the hill at Recreational Lane. So if anybody just watch your schedule, I'd love to have you come up. They usually start around 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock, but the bowling team is alive and well also.
Right. And then my shout out is our former high school principal, Bob Cotter, passed away on December 21st. He was a beloved member of our Skyhawk family, and he served as principal
Thank you.
from 2001 to 2012. His leadership and commitment were instrumental in developing a culture of excellence, supporting both students and staff, and our deepest sympathies are extended to his family. So, okay, next on the agenda is recognition of visitors and public comment. Mr. Philo?
Mr. President, I don't have any public comments this evening.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to district presentations.
If I could ask, first item A, recognition of school board, if I could ask Pam Gayhart to come up here. I think Pam's actually got 2 presentations tonight, so.
Please don't.
I think the microphone's over there.
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like karaoke night at the board meeting. Just kidding.
Yeah, can you sing?
This message is from Superintendent Lawley for each of you. January is Ohio School Board Association School Board Recognition Month. So on behalf of Superintendent Lawley and the OSBA, we want to thank you for your service. The Fairborn City School District will join more than 700 school districts throughout Ohio to celebrate January as School Board Recognition Month. Our school board members are citizen servants who shoulder critical responsibilities and often make difficult choices for our district, all with minimal pay. Their focus is always on the future success of the children in our district, and celebrating School Board Recognition Month is one way to say thank you for all you do. Our school board has been instrumental in the continued success of Fairborn City Schools and strong supporters of the community. These individuals have worked hard to pass 2 bond issues to ensure a strong future for the Fairborn City Schools and the Fairborn community. With 2 schools currently under construction, their leadership and vision has been the key to our success. So current Fairborn Board of Education members are President, Mr. Jerry Browning, Vice President, Mr. Pat McCourt, Miss Wendy Landon, member, Mrs. Katie Millad, member, and Mr. Tim Steininger, member. So on behalf of Superintendent Lawley and our district, we thank you for your continued leadership and support of Fairborn City Schools in our community. Please take a moment to the public and let our school board members know that we appreciate their care and time and energy for Fairborn City Schools. So we have a certificate for each of you, and I'll let Kevin pass those out. We're going to take a picture, but I have one more thing on behalf of the superintendent, and you can pass one of these to each person. So this is on behalf of Superintendent Lawley as well. As part of a continued focus on mental health and school counseling, the Fairborn Primary School Counseling Program visited each classroom to teach students about social, emotional, and character education topics such as responsibility, friendship, handling feelings, and kindness. This year in December, the counselors engaged the students in a service learning project that highlighted the importance of caring for others and giving back to community. From preschool to second grade, students created cards which were distributed to seniors in nursing homes, healthcare workers, fire, police, librarians, veterans, and more. And you have a card from them in front of you. These amazing students sent over 1,000 cards out into the community. Thank you to the Fairborn Primary School students and Ms. Hartley and Ms. Martell for your leadership and focus on mental health and wellness in the school and community. So now we need to take a picture of you with your OSBA certificate, and then we need to take a picture of you with the card from the kids. Thank you.
Go ahead and line up front. Pam, do you need a picture of Wendy for the webpage? Okay. So Wendy, at the end, she's gonna take a picture of you and Tim separate for the webpage.
So can we do the certificate first and then the card? Thanks.
Tim and Wendy, if you'll stay up there so she can take individual pictures of you guys.
You may move. Doesn't need to be in Wendy's picture. Are you sure? Although I'm gonna be in Tim's.
Next up, Mr. President, is we have a COVID/quarantine update that'll be handled by Mrs. Amy Gayhart.
Good evening. Is this on? Yes, good. So Mr. Lally did ask me to update you as far as masking goes. We are going to continue in masks for Fairborn City Schools staff and students in light of the ongoing COVID concern. Mr. Walker is going to talk in work session a little bit about the change in quarantine guidelines. The CDC has recently changed those guidelines to allow for staff and students to quarantine for only 5 days as opposed to 10. We have been meeting with our nursing staff and our principals this week, and we meet again tomorrow just to make sure everyone is on the same page and has the same information, and we're consistently putting out the same message to our families. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. President, we have the facilities update, Mr. Jeff Patrick.
Good evening. We'll start with the Fairborn Intermediate School. Substantial completion date still remains May 31st, which means that's good. Hasn't changed yet. As of last week, we did receive the roofing adhesive. Yay. So that's in place. This week we received the roofing membrane. And today we did receive confirmation that the roof insulation will be arriving next Thursday, January the 13th.
That's really good news.
So that's all really good news. Just one thing. The adhesive is a temperature-rated adhesive.
Of course it is.
So it's 32 and above. So we'll see how that goes. We are checking to see if there's a chance of, there is a adhesive that we used at the primary for a lower temperature, I think 20 degrees and above. So we're looking to see if there's the possibility of the lower degree adhesive being in stock. And I do not have that answer yet. But as of next Thursday, we should have everything we need to start roofing if Mother Nature helps us. So that's good. Casework is being installed on the first floor classrooms. Drywall is being hung in the office areas and the music classrooms. Window installation is about 35% complete for the entire building. Work continues on the stage and in the gym. For the bad news this week, we had bid 4 furniture packages, and we strategically did 4, trying to get more bidders. And when you do that, you have to have so many bidders per package. And of the 4 bids, we were only able to accept the bids of one of the 4 packages. And you'll see that in the agenda tonight, where I think it's package 103, I believe is the correct number. You're being asked to approve that. The other 3 packages were 10% at least higher than the estimates, which means we have to rebid. So in order to rebid, we have to talk about where to find a little additional money. So in work session, we'll do that. I think we've got a pretty good plan to try to come up with that. We've looked at some co-funded contingency money that we're going to use for base package overage. And then I am going to ask you for a little bit of money from the general fund. So we'll talk about that in work session and so forth. But we do have a plan, and the important thing is to try to get it accomplished as soon as possible. As we've talked about the delays in materials and so forth, we're still hoping that we can meet the June deadline of getting that stuff in and installed and so forth. But that does mean we do not need a special board meeting next Tuesday, but it does mean that I may need another special board meeting sometime before our February board meeting. So we'll just kind of keep that all on track. Still hoping to move from the 5 Points building sometime in that July issue, and then teachers will be allowed in the building still on August the 1st if everything goes as scheduled. So a big thing will be, now that we know the roofing material is good, we hope, now we're looking at the furniture. The furniture is the next big thing to see if that's going to take place. Over at the new high school property, over the last several weeks, we've been working on stabilization of the parking lots, and that has been completed. Stone has been placed in the parking lots. Storm, water, and sanitary lines are approximately 75% complete. Rebar has been tied for Area A, or Area E. Area E is the auxiliary gym area, for them to be able to start to dig footers as soon as we get the permit from Fairborn. We're still waiting on the permit process from Fairborn City. No fault of anybody with that. It's just a process. So hopefully we get that. The goal is to get that tomorrow afternoon and maybe start digging as early as Tuesday, weather permitting. Peterson's goals are to continue to dig as much as possible. So that might mean maybe 1 week they dig 2 days a week, and maybe 1 week they don't dig at all. It just kind of depends. But they do want to continue to do as much as they can throughout these next several months. Also, this afternoon, we did finally receive an email on the wetlands project. It came at 2:34 after I had talked to Mr. Who did I talk to today? Pat. And it really says nothing more than we knew before, other than the fact that they did receive the ODOT documents. There were 2,500 files from ODOT that CTR submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers and the Ohio History Society. So that's a lot of documents that were presented to them. So no word on anything other than that they do now have the documents that they've asked for. So. And the last thing that's not on my list, but I do want to talk about real quickly, is many of you saw the picture I sent a couple weeks ago about the one light pole that was snapped off at the soccer field. That light pole has been tagged out, locked out, which means there's no electric to it, so it's safe. We had companies out there, insurance adjusters, companies, we're still waiting on bids to get that. We do have permission to get someone in to cut it down. It looks as if one of the other telephone poles has been jeopardized. The 2 up on the hill do not look jeopardized enough to where the insurance will pick up the cost to replace them. So we're going to have a decision to make about what to do with those in the near future. So as soon as I get the estimates to fix those, I asked for 2 estimates. I asked for an estimate to replace just like they were. Wood with, you had to, it's insurance wants you to provide them with a price to replace what you have. So even though they're not LED lights, I have to price as is. But I also asked for a price for middle light poles and LED light fixtures so that we could strategically, instead of put these aluminum poles or metal poles, into the ground, I could basically plant them on top, bolt them down, and then eventually move them to a new location down the road. So, so we're looking for 2 different prices to do that. So, any questions?
I have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Next, Mr. President, is we have an update on vouchers from the illustrious former Fairborn School Board member and president, and member of the State Steering Committee on whatever, Mr. Andy Wilson.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me to update you on this, since I asked for this, since we are a participating member of one of the 100-plus school districts that's participating in this. Those 100 districts are in 47 of Ohio's 88 counties, and they represent approximately 250,000 students. There are 5 plaintiff districts involved. The lead plaintiff district is Columbus City Schools, and they are the most deeply harmed school district from the vouchers. They stand to lose approximately $35 to $40 million this year to voucher students. Cleveland Heights, University Heights is another significantly impacted district, and according to their records, nearly all of the voucher students in that district have never attended the Cleveland Heights, University Heights district. So the students are not escaping a failing school system. The parents are escaping a tuition bill at state taxpayer expense. Richmond Heights Local School District, also up in the Cleveland area. Since the voucher program started in 2005, I believe, they have lost nearly all of their white students. The district was approximately 26% white and 74% students of color. It's now 97% students of color. Lima came on board just recently. Lima is Senator Huffman's home district, and Barberton is also one of the other districts. In Greene County, Xenia, Fairborn, Yellow Springs, and Cedar Cliff are the participating districts, and Cedar Cliff is Mike DeWine's home district. So, the judge in the case, it's in Franklin County Common Pleas Court, and the judge is Judge Page, which on our committee, there's a law professor from Ohio State University, and he spoke very highly of Judge Page. Said, ranked her as one of his top 10 law students that he's had out of over 8,000 law students in his career. So, if anybody has any questions, I'll.
Andy, any word as to what impact Greene County as far as the voucher dollars?
That's probably fairly minimal right now, but with the levels of income for the vouchers, could be having a situation similar to Cleveland Heights, University Heights, of parents realizing, oh, I can get $5,500, $7,500 per student, and I don't have to, I don't have to have had them in the public school district. I can just get a voucher, which is part of the crux of why this lawsuit is initiated. It's taken over a year of working on this to get it to the point of filing the complaint. It's about 40 pages long. So I did some math on the funding differential. The funding for the vouchers is $5,500 for K through 8 students and $7,500 for high school students. Part of this is, part of the thing with the vouchers is many people are saying, well, the money should follow the student. Well, in our case, we receive $4,500 per student for all students. So if the state funded us at the same level as the voucher students, for the K through 8 students, which we have approximately 3,000 of, that would be a $1,000 per student bump for those students, so there's $3 million. At the high school level, we have about 1,000 students, but the differential there is $3,000 per student, so there's another $3 million. So if the state funded the public schools at the same level as the vouchers, we'd be getting an additional $6 million. And that's $6 million the district may not have to go to the voters on for increases in property taxes. So.
Well, I think it needs to be said that we look around this room and the people in this room, we've got 2 old board members on the other side of the table that just keep giving of their time and effort to improve Fairborn City Schools. Mr. Eaker, a longtime board member here in the school district, now our representative out at the Career Center, has served as vice president and president out there, I believe. And of course, Andy here with us, and you know, I think it speaks volumes of the caring people we have in this town, and all caring for our kids and wanting to make a better place for our kids and our staff. So thanks to both of you for your time, and Andy, thanks for the report.
Mr. President, next we have the Greene County Career Center update from Mr. Mike Eaker.
And thank you very much. Couple of very short notices. One is that we're going to have an open house for prospective students and their parents. It's actually open to anybody, but that's who it's aimed at, on Thursday, January 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. Students of all ages and their families are invited to attend and learn more about the programs and services, including college scholarships, our free college credit, and job placement opportunities. One of the nice things, one of our goals is to equip every student that graduates with a diploma, a certification, at least one, and a job, and no debt, which I think is laudatory. And yes, we do compete with the other 7 school districts for students, but I think we do it well because we do a good job. And there are a lot of kids out there who really benefit from the Career Center curriculum and hands-on training. Our lab teachers and guidance counselors will both be on hand to answer questions. The other item that I want to talk about briefly is applications are rolling in. We currently have about 450 sophomores from the 7 districts who have applied for the 22-23 school year. That's already ahead of last year's total, which was a record at that time. So, are there any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
As promised.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. So next item on the agenda is budget and finance. Recommendation that the board accept the receipt of the monthly financial report for November 2021. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Philo, roll call, please.
Mr. McCourt,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. The next item is the administrative reports and superintendent recommendations. You can see that it goes from page 2 to the top of page 6. There's a series of personnel-related items in here, along with on page 5, you'll see the purchase of a Transit 150 passenger van, Ford van, and the furniture package that Mr. Patrick talked about earlier. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you.
Was that Wendy that went first?
Yeah.
All right.
So, Mr. Philo?
Ms. Landon,
Yes.
Mrs. Malad,
Yes.
Mr. Steininger,
Yay.
Mr. McCord,
Yes.
Mr. Browning.
Yes. Motion carries. Next up is gifts and donations, always very important to the district. Wendy, would you do the honors?
Absolutely, thank you. So we'd like to thank the Fairborn City Schools Board of Education. We would like to gratefully thank and acknowledge the following gifts and donations. Donations for use by the homeless liaison, Terry Adkins, City of Fairborn School Supplies, City of Fairborn staff, $300 Walmart gift card, City of Fairborn Fire Department, $100 Visa gift card, Grand Heights Baptist Church, hats, gloves, and mittens, and Kroger's $75 in gift cards. For the turf donations, Combs Interior Specialties donated $1,000, and Steve Ross $25. And for the Ron McDermott Scholarship Fund, Fagine Regine $35, Robert and Janine Cope $300, Joyce Lowe $40, John and Mary Joe Martin $1,000, Pam Martin $35, the McDermott family $5,000, and that's Barb, Karen, Pete, Michael, Jordan, and Madison. Madison McDermott $75, Michael and Jordan McDermott $1,000, Janet Miller $100, Pete and Karen Petros $500, Christopher Poland $250, Michael Quinn and siblings $5,000, and Michael Rarick $100.
Thank you. Mr. Philo, there is no scheduled executive session, is that
Correct.
correct?
We can delete items 11 and items 12. There will be no executive session tonight. We'll go into work session. We'll take about a 3-minute recess and for people to exit. And we'll start in about 3 minutes.
But,